Well, happy Thursday, everybody, and welcome back to another Cruise Chat Live. My name is Donovan, your host and travel agency owner of ELK Travel. And today I'm so excited because we have a brand new face to Cruise Chat Live. We have my good friend Dave from Princess Cruises. And I think we're going to talk all about Alaska today, Alaska cruises, cruise tours. We're going to kind of sneak peek a special 9-night cruise next year on the brand new Star Princess. So, Dave, I just want to say welcome. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time and coming on to talk to folks about Alaska cruising with Princess.
Thank you so much, Donovan. I really appreciate it. It's an exciting itinerary to talk about. It's probably one of my favorites. So you're doing me a favor by letting me talk about it more.
It's funny because just to kind of quickly throw out there, whenever I talk to clients and we're kind of talking about Alaska, a couple things that I always hear people say is, Alaska's a bucket list trip. But then a lot of people say, I want to go kind of check it off. It's a one and done. I'll probably never go back. And the amount of people that I send to Alaska, they come back from their trip and they're like, I have to go back. It was so amazing. I'm like, Alaska just has a way of really grabbing you. And the thing I think that a lot of people don't realize is there's so much to see, and you cannot do it in one trip. It's literally just impossible.
No, in fact, a lot of the times when you go to Alaska, a lot of the different cities and towns will actually show you the size comparison between Alaska, and if you moved all of Alaska onto the United States, it takes up almost from like North Dakota all the way to Texas almost. I mean, it is massive. It's very expansive.
It really truly is. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I know you've got a whole kind of slew of things to walk us through. I want to remind everybody who's watching, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, if you have questions about Alaska cruising, cruise tours, maybe just Princess in general, because Princess is a worldwide cruise line, goes everywhere. Please drop them down in the comments or in the chat. I'll be monitoring that. And we've got the expert with us today and Dave, so we'll make sure we get those questions answered. But in the meantime, I've got you up on the screen. I've got a beautiful picture in a tuxedo, and I'm in Alaska in that picture. So I'll turn it over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much. You look good, though. You look good. I don't recommend wearing a tux all the time when you're in Alaska, but we just had an event, so I dressed up.
I love it.
But kind of like what you were saying, Donovan, it's, Princess, if anyone has ever, seen The Love Boat back in the 70s, we're kind of known for that premise of the love and the factor behind that. We started in the Mexican Riviera, and now we have truly moved to a premium world destination cruise line. We have about 345 destinations worldwide. We go to every continent, every port you can think of. And specifically, if you're trying to start cruising for the first time, or if you have cruised with other cruise lines, I would recommend giving Princess a try, not only for Alaska, because obviously we're number one in Alaska. We do that phenomenally well, but we're expanding into Europe, the Mediterranean. We got the Caribbean. We're expanding. We're probably right now the number one in Southeast Asia and Japan. So these are just a few destinations that, I kind of wanted to just throw out there before we dived into Alaska here. So just bear with me a little bit. I actually have some funny pictures here. So the one on the left is actually, it's a show we have in Denali, our Denali Lodge. It's called Music of Denali. And probably I have a big beard right now. I haven't shaved it yet. But I was picked for their like Alaska Man of the Night, which is actually very awkward. I had to go up there and they were just throwing stuff on me. And I was blush. I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but my face is extremely red. So that was a fun time, great experience. And I actually, all of these pictures were taken in the last week. I just came back from a FAM there last week, and absolutely phenomenal. And I don't like to say this, Donovan, but I do want to be transparent and honest with everyone. I, for the longest time, was one of those people where it kind of was a bucket list for me, but it was kind of down the list because I was like, oh, it's Alaska. Like, yeah, it's cool sceneries. You'll get to see some cool wildlife, but it's not like on the top of my list. After I came back, I kind of felt a little stupid because I was like, it's way better than I thought. I mean, the picture on the right, that's McKinley from our McKinley Lodge, and we'll go over all the lodges and everything and kind of how it flows. But that was taken with my phone. I slightly zoomed in, and I didn't edit it that is 100% raw. So if you can think of this picture and kind of just put it into perspective, because you know how videos and pictures sometimes don't do it justice.
Yep.
It's incredible. I will make a quick caveat. Technically, I am part of the 10% club with a picture like this because it was phenomenally clear. Some days it'll kind of peek out. Some days it might be a little cloudy and rainy. You kind of never know with Alaska. So just keep that in mind when you're kind of traveling through and you're doing stuff. One thing I like to point out here is this is our Princess Direct to Wilderness Railway line. So if you ever have a cruise tour option with us, you will always be guaranteed a trip on this. It has a 180-degree viewing window at the top. You have drinks, food. It's actually a lower level here where you can have some meals, and it's a like legit restaurant. So that is a fan favorite anytime people come. And then not only that, the pictures I'm showing here, this is on the Tundra Wilderness Tour here, which is actually in Denali as well. The proximity to our lodges and just kind of where we are located, and the way in which we're seamless and everything kind of molds together. We've done such a great job. We've been in Alaska the longest. So we really have done a great job kind of molding everything together where, you know, you may be doing a bit of traveling, but every place you go to is going to be unique, different, and you're going to have a different feeling of awe and like, you know, just that majestic nature that you get to see there. And then not to embarrass you, Donovan, but I also threw in a couple pictures of you here and your wife. And then
I love it.
There's some clients at the top left if you want to talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Those are some great pictures. So the photos there kind of in top left, those are clients of ours who were just in Alaska back in May, and they sent us pictures of an excursion that we sent them on there. So super unique jet skiing there and actually walking on a glacier. So that's just a small sample of some of the excursion experiences we help plan for our clients. The salmon there next to that. So that actually is in Fairbanks, Alaska. I was there about a month ago. That's at the Alaska Salmon Bake. So super fun, and just a great way to have some, you know, authentic like Alaska salmon. Of course, the iconic "Welcome to Alaska" sign there. So that is outside of Skagway. So when you're doing kind of White Pass Rail with a bus tour, which is always the version that I recommend, you get to stop and take that wonderful picture there. So it just really goes to show, I mean, the pictures you have here from my recent trip up to Alaska, the pictures of you just go to show the variety of experiences you can have in Alaska. You know, I always tell people who have been on a cruise before, right? Most times Caribbean, Bahamas, it is so different from a Caribbean cruise. I mean, it's completely different. And you know, people ask about, I have clients ask about excursions. Which ones should I do? And it's like, well, where do you want to start? Because there's a lot of different things to choose from. It's not just going and, you know, hanging out on the beach like you would do on a normal cruise. So yeah, no, thank you for including these. And you know, I'll be in Alaska again next week. I actually leave on Monday. I will be with Princess doing a very similar experience. We'll be starting in Fairbanks and making our way through Denali, the Tundra Wilderness Tour, all the way down to Whittier, and then we'll be boarding the Grand Princess to take her southbound from Whittier down to Vancouver. So for everybody watching TikTok, YouTube, there'll be a lot of that content coming as I will literally be doing this here in just a few days.
Thank you so much, Donovan. And honestly, you adding content like will just enhance this presentation that much further, because that was just a little snippet. And so when everyone gets to see where you're going and see what you're doing, it'll really make a difference with this this presentation as well.
Some trips are felt beyond words. By land, by air, by sea. No one connects you to Alaska like Princess. Princess Cruises. Book now.
So it's just a little sneak peek I like to show. So why Alaska? Number one, we have been in Alaska the longest. We've been there since 1969. We have some of the best relationships with the parks and with the actual glacier bays and all of the natural places that you need permission to go into from the government and from these parks. So because of that relationship that we have, we are actually able to take everyone a little bit closer and a little bit more in depth. And a lot of the times, I'll kind of dive into it with our North to Alaska program. We actually have rangers who come on to the ship from the parks. And when you're stopped in these ports or when you're doing a glacier viewing day, they'll come on the ship, they'll do expert commentary, they'll talk about the fauna, the wildlife, the glaciers, just the natural geography. And you go away from that feeling much more just in tune with where you're actually traveling, which is kind of rare a lot of the times when you're doing a lot of these trips. Like when I go to the Caribbean, I'm not like, oh, I really know the history of Barbados, even though, to be honest, I am kind of a snob with history, so I do a little bit. but you understand what I'm saying. It's very much like you're learning so much as you're witnessing it with your eyes. It's one of those things I'd love to take my kids to. Even though, to be honest, I am kind of I'd love to do that. So anyway, one thing I also like to point out here as well is this is and we'll jump into this near the end of the slide as well, because I think it's very important to get a picture of everything here. The cruise tour application combines with either a northbound or southbound 7-day voyage, either out of Vancouver or Whittier. It depends where you're going. My personal recommendation would be to do the southbound first. So basically you would do the Princess Cruise Tour first, and then you would move to the southbound cruise, kind of like Donovan's doing. And when you combine it like that, the one caveat and the tip I can give you guys is that you're seeing some incredible views and some majestic areas of Alaska there you can see here, I'll try to move it on my mouse. This whole area here, you're able to see specifically where I was in Denali up here, and then I was in the McKinley Lodge, and then I went down to Talkeetna, Anchorage, and flew out of Anchorage. I did not combine mine with a cruise, but Donovan will be, so then he'll go to Whittier, and then from Whittier, he'll come southbound. He'll get to see Skagway, Juneau, Ketchikan, all of the really cool places through the Inside Passage. And with Voyage of the Glaciers, you're guaranteed 2 full glacier scenic days. So we always have Glacier Bay. It's guaranteed every time. And then it flip-flops between College Fjord and Hubbard. So you can kind of choose between the two depending on what itinerary it is. But you're guaranteed Glacier Viewing Day. You're guaranteed 1 night stay in Denali, the Denali Lodge up here. And then you're guaranteed a Princess Direct to Wilderness train ride. So all of the highlights you're going to get, it's all included when you do a cruise tour and a voyage combined. Now, specifically, the group that Donovan's actually promoting, and this is our new flagship, is the Star Princess, and is now in Alaska. It's our flagship. It's the sister ship to the Sun Princess, but this debuted in Europe, I believe, in the Mediterranean in fall of 2025. And for 2026, this season going forward, it's actually going to be in Alaska full time during the Alaska season, which is in that summer period. And the one thing I'll say with this, and I have slides that talk about at the end a little bit about our packages and kind of how they combine with the ship experience and everything. We have some of the most competitive and some of the best packages overseas. And specifically, what I would recommend, if you're doing anything with the store, or me personally, any kind of a Royal Caribbean, or not Royal Caribbean, excuse me, Royal class of ship, which is your brand of ship. If it's any one of those ships or the Star, I would recommend getting our highest package specifically for the Star, because it has so many diverse and eclectic restaurants and bars and lounges you can go to. Specifically, one that's coming off the top of my head, it's called Spellbound. And we actually have professional magicians that come over from the West Coast, and it's only on the Sun and the Star, so it's exclusive to these ships. And it's really fun because you have drinks, some food, and then everyone that works there is a magician at some level, and some are more than others. But then you'll have a private show during the actual sit down. But as you're getting your drinks and as you're getting some of your hors d'oeuvres and stuff, they actually will, like, I heard of this one colleague of mine that just went on it, and she was given a drink, and the guy was like, here you go, here's your drink, and it was like foaming a little bit, and some like smoke was coming out of it, and she was like, oh, I didn't order that, and he's like, oh, huh, that's weird, you're right, you didn't. And then he like waved his hands, moved it, and a new drink came out of nowhere. And so she was like, what the heck? So it's stuff like that kind of experience. You get access to that on unlimited amount if you get the higher versions of our package, which I'll explain in a few other later slides. So when it comes to Alaska, we're very proud of our legacy there. And like I said, we've been sailing since 1969 and honestly have really transformed cruising to this region. And the innovations that we have and the new ways to kind of experience Alaska are pretty prominent over the last decade and a half. And just that's one reason why we're number one in Alaska. A couple more are more guests choose Princess for Alaska than any other cruise line. When we take you up there, like I said, we're taking you closer to the action. We own and operate all of our Princess lodges and the direct wilderness train, the actual cabs themselves. So we've got you covered on every part of the transportation. And we're also very flexible too, where if you want an excursion that we don't offer in these cruise touring or on some of our ships, we are there so much longer than other competitors that we can give you more time at port where you're able to really take advantage of some of those excursions.
Absolutely.
And then, yeah, you go for it.
Yeah, no. I just wanted to call out really fast for folks because a lot of people may not know this, but with Princess, to your point, I believe this year you have 8 ships in Alaska, right? So you have a couple ships out of Seattle, you have a ship in Vancouver, the Emerald Princess, and then you have a number of ships that are doing those north and southbound itineraries. Another one that not as many people talk about, but I think is really unique, is you have a ship out of San Francisco that does a 10-day Alaska cruise. So adds a couple of sea days in there. So I just like to service that as there is a lot of options with Princess, not only in terms of the itinerary, whether we're talking Seattle, Vancouver, potentially a one-way cruise, but in the type of ship, right? So if you want a brand new ship with lots of bells and whistles and things to do on the ship, you've got the beautiful Star Princess that you just talked about. That is a fantastic option. But if you want something a little smaller, a little bit more intimate, and that might be able to get you into some different places, Princess has a little bit smaller ship option as well with Grand Princess, Crown Princess, Coral Island, just some options that give you just a lot of variety to choose from with Princess.
100%. And it really, and you know this, Donovan, and for anyone listening, Alaska truly is like, I know it's like the great land, it's the wilderness and everything, but Alaska truly is a beast of its own. You can, and kind of like Donovan was saying earlier, you can go there in like 20 different ways and still not see everything you'd want to see. And that kind of boils down to our ships as well. Like he was saying, we do come out of San Francisco on that 10-day. We do have some select ones that come out, I think, as well, 10 days out of Los Angeles as well. But mostly it's San Francisco, Seattle, Vancouver. Those are going to be the 3 big ports that we go out of on the West Coast. But this is kind of just a little overview here. I like to show this because here are just some of the incredible experiences you can actually have on your cruise tour. I know for sure that the river rafting was done by some of our agents that just came with us. The ATVs, I actually had an agent accidentally lose her phone because she was doing so many jumps and they kept telling her to slow down. But she ended up finding it, so that ended up being good. You can hold puppies at some of the excursions that we have there in Fairbanks on the it's kind of where they train them for the Iditarod, and it's such a big history there that just that alone is a great part of the trip that you can add when you're in Fairbanks. I would also recommend the people that I was with, they did not do the K2 bush plane there, but they did do the helicopter tour where it took them about 40 miles deeper into the Alaskan range. And then they actually landed on a like remote glacier. They showed me pictures, and phenomenal day. It was very clear, just like that. And there was not probably a person, or for that matter, except for maybe birds and some dole sheep or something. You're so remote in those glacier bays that you're not gonna. It's almost like you're the first person to step foot on that glacier in like however long.
Absolutely.
And it's that kind of all that drags people to Alaska over and over again, is that like remoteness, the wilderness, just being one with nature. That's why people live up there. One thing I'll add too, and I forgot to mention this in the beginning, it threw me off a little bit. There's two things. Sometimes the mosquitoes, they joke around. It's really only going to be during certain parts of the summer. By August, it starts to get too cold. But they call it the bird of Alaska, the state bird of Alaska. Just make sure, yeah, right. As long as you in Denali and McKinley and the lodges, when we were there, it's when you start walking outside of the lodges, if you're going for a hike or something, sometimes they're a little bit annoying. They're more annoying in the morning and in the like twilight hours of the afternoon. And I specifically say twilight hours because it never gets dark. In the summer, it never once, like I woke up one time at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and it was almost like we were having a
daylight,
8:20, sunset, 8 o'clock sunset here in Raleigh. So very weird. It took me a lot to get used to that. Just cover the blinds up so you can get some good sleep so you're ready to go the next day. One thing I like to talk about here too, and this is something that we do specifically with Princess and with our itineraries now going forward, it's called our North to Alaska program. So from the day you step aboard, you'll experience Alaska the right way. And it's, like I said, this is kind of our exclusive award-winning North to Alaska program. It has anything between lumberjack demonstrations and even axe throwing for the guests when they start to learn some of the forms. I mentioned earlier, the National Park Rangers actually get to join us on Glacier Bay, kind of help learn more about the national park. They give you expert commentary. And then the one picture at the bottom left there, which I'll kind of dive into a little bit on the next slide, is our junior and teen ranger programs that kind of help educate the younger ones with Glacier Bay and any of the other areas around there. And specifically with that, it's great because you really get a good, like if you're doing a multi-generational family trip, this is where everyone's involved. Parents can come to this if they want as well. But it's a great thing that we offer. You get to hear from a lot of the Iditarod champions, some of the mountain climbers, storytellers come on board. Sometimes it's a totem pole carver champion. And of course, there's the fresh, sustainable Alaska seafood that we have in the area. When I went to Alaska, I can't tell you how much fish I had. I had some of the best halibut and salmon.
Yes, it's so good.
Oh, I actually felt like a little healthier coming back. I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of rich food, but I thought I would feel more like, when you've had a lot of rich food and you're just like, oh, I need to like eat a salad. I actually felt really good. And I think it was because of the quality of the food that I was eating.
It's literally, I mean, they catch it like that day and then it's on the ship being prepared fresh. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And I want to call it really fast because I think sometimes people might be a little apprehensive about bringing kiddos to Alaska. And now, while I would say not every cruise line out there is a good fit for a family cruise to Alaska, but to me, if you're bringing the kids, you want them to be immersed in Alaska. They don't need the bumper cars and rock climbing walls and all that craziness, but you want to actually have a great Alaska cruise. Princess with this North to Alaska program is absolutely the way to go. And these, pictures here and what you're describing just kind of showcase that a little bit. One of my favorite activities that Princess does, and I always love to tell clients to be sure to watch out for, is puppies in the piazza. I think that's like a highlight event of any Alaska cruise on Princess. You guys are the only ones who do that. So I love it.
Yeah, and a lot of those puppies too are going to be the puppies that they're training with. Some of them are going to be like Iditarod, like pups that they're training to do some of those big races in. So it's a really fun thing to see them so young, knowing that some of them might be champions later. The other couple slides here on the top right, we have some naturalists that actually come on board, and they will do informative presentations about the wildlife, the flora, and the fauna. So you kind of feel a little bit more in tune geographically, historically with the area. And then a big fan favorite here too is our Klondike Festival with music, dancing. Stanley the Bear usually shows up. Guests can join in if they want. So just a ton of stuff to do on the ship, and it's all based on like where you are, which port you're in. We do it all. Specifically, the Junior Ranger program. And this is based on our Camp Discovery Youth Program. It's going to be we obviously have the Treehouse, the Lodge, and the Beach House Teen Club. It's basically our I always get this. Okay, 3 to 7, 8 to 12, 13 to 17, in the order I just said it. So for the first one, the Junior Ranger program, it's going to be for the Treehouse and the Lodge. Those are 3 to 7 and 8 to 12-year-olds. It's in partnership with the Glacier Bay National Park. So park rangers will be on the ship, and it's a great way for them to play some games. They can get some cool tags. They can actually get some pins for their badges if they are in any kind of like a ranger program or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the kids walk away with that being one of their highlights of the trip. They get to experience that, and they really love it.
I will tell you what, if you are a national park family, you love going to, the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Yosemite, all those places, Glacier Bay is not very easy to get to, right? And so for folks who are into that, to be able to get that Junior Ranger badge for the kids, to be able to get that park stamp in your national parks passport book, that's a big deal. And again, you can't just do that anywhere. So I think it's wonderful that Princess offers this, obviously, with going to Glacier Bay, bringing the park rangers on board. It's just another way to really enhance your cruise, your vacation to Alaska, and kind of check off that box if you're big into the national parks.
100%. Okay, so we just want to quickly go over, because I know we're doing a lot of talking, how to visit Alaska. So first off, you can see Alaska, I think one of the most convenient ways with the most departure and embarkation ports is going to be those round trips that I was talking about. Seattle, San Francisco, Vancouver, Los Angeles on select itineraries. Those are going to go in through the Inside Passage. Now, the difference is the Voyage of the Glaciers is the only one that we actually combine with the cruise tours, because it goes out of Vancouver or to Anchorage, Whittier. It goes back and forth, either northbound or southbound.
Sure.
But the big caveat with this is that you're going to get more access you're guaranteed 2 glacier viewing days, one in Glacier Bay, and then you either split Hubbard or College Fjord. And you get those North through Alaska vibes. People come on board, you talk about stuff. And then the big thing is that we go 500 miles further north because of those cruise tours. And you don't have to do a cruise tour if you don't want to. I would recommend, if you're doing Alaska and you want to see more wilderness, go up further north to Denali and get to see that for yourself. It's definitely worth it. But we go 500 miles further north than any other cruise line, I believe. And it's something that really separates it. So if you have some hesitant travelers who kind of just want to do a little round trip, easy one out of San Francisco or Seattle, they can start with the Inside Passage. I think the best one's Voyage of the Glaciers. And then honestly, if they have the time and the means to do it, you definitely want to add the cruise tour application, because it's the most of Alaska that you will see when you combine those two.
I could not agree more. And just to chime in really fast, because I think the part you were just talking about, right, is where a lot of people start to get a little bit overwhelmed, because it's like, okay, there's these 3 kind of big ways I can do my cruise. I can do round trip. I can do one way. I can do a cruise tour. Which one's the right one for me and what I want to see and do. And then, okay, well, there's 8 different ships on Alaska. Which one's the right ship? If you're wanting to do a cruise tour, I mean, Princess, I think, has like 26 different land tour options. So which one's the right one? So I say all that to say that is where partnering with a travel agent, obviously such as myself, to kind of help navigate all of those different options and really arrive at one that's right for you and your group, your family, whoever's going with you. That's where I help to kind of just make things a lot easier for you, because it can be overwhelming to decide, do I want to do a round trip? Do I want to do one way? Most people, fun fact, most people that initially reach out to me, I would say 75% start out at, I want to do round trip out of Seattle. And after we kind of talk about their wish list and what they really want to see and do, I have more people end up at the one-way cruise than a round trip, just because that matches more with what they actually want to get out of Alaska. So
yeah, and we're definitely increasing the Voyage of the Glaciers, the volume, and that's why we added more ships and whatnot, because we're seeing that increase, and we need to kind of adjust for it. One thing I'll say too, and you just mentioned it, if you combine, so we've we do Alaska the best. And the reason we do that is when you're on our ships, it's a seamless experience. It's classic cruising. It's a very, very premium, good vibe. And then you move seamlessly. We've done a lot of research and a lot of marketing, and we've learned over the last, 40, 50 plus years how to do this. So what we've done now is that we've gotten a really good system where, yes, you might be traveling like hundreds of miles through the wilderness, but you're doing it in style, either on the railway or you're doing it on a coach, depending on certain sections of where you are. But it's going to be really seamless. But then when you add in Donovan's like consultant expertise, and then he's going to be communicating with me on this group, and then we're going to make sure everything goes smoothly, you won't have to worry about a single thing when you're on this trip. All you're going to do is just have your camera ready. And I will say, there's some people out there that take like way too many pictures, and then they don't actually get to experience it in person. Just every once in a while, put your camera down or stop taking a video and just look at it. There were a couple times I lost myself looking at McKinley in the McKinley Lodge because it was just right there. And I was just sipping, having a coffee, and I was just watching it to the point where I actually was like 15 minutes late to dinner where I had to meet some other TAs. And just because I was sitting there and I lost track of time. So one of those things. And then I do have a quick video here. I think this is a great video. I kind of pre-showed it to Donovan a little bit. It goes over all of the lodges. It's actually by our director of sales and marketing and national accounts up there, Mary Jacqueline. So she lives in Juneau. She lives and breathes Alaska. So this coming from her, she created this video, and I think it's a really great video for you guys to take a look at. So enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Mary Jacquel. I'm the Director of Alaska Planning and Marketing here at Princess Cruises. Today, I'm here in Whittier, and behind me, you can probably see the stunning Princess ship. Whittier serves as the gateway to your cruise tour. You can either start on ship and head to land, or start on land and head to ship. Come along with us on this overview of the Princess experience in Alaska. We're going to take you to our 5 fantastic wilderness lodges that were purposely built at key locations throughout the state, including a multitude of land excursions you can choose to experience at each one. And we'll also explore our exclusive direct-to-wilderness Alaska rail service with sweeping views of the incredible Alaska range while you dine and relax in comfort. As a Princess guest, we take care of you. And because we own and operate each component of the cruise tour, we can deliver a seamless experience to you. We're so excited for you to join us. Let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about our direct-to-the-wilderness rail service at Princess. Rail cars have a 360-degree view because of the glass domes. We have awesome rail guides who will narrate about Alaska and any of the wildlife that you might see along the way. We also have open-air platforms, and you can go outside, take a breath of fresh Alaskan air, take as many photos and videos as you'd like. And one of the best parts about our rail service is our all-day dining. Sit back, relax, and let us take care of you as you travel through the interior of Alaska. I'm so excited to be here with you today at Mountain Princess Wilderness Lodge. When you get to the lodge, it is incredibly peaceful. See trees, mountains, and wildlife. The lodge was purposely built so that our guests have a front row seat to the largest mountain in North America, Mount Denali. Another great view of the mountain is from our treehouse. If you go up there during the day, you'll get the chance to interact with our naturalist who specializes in local flora and fauna. One of the reasons why people come to Alaska is to be immersed in the great outdoors. I highly recommend the K2 experience. Take you in a fixed-wing airplane and you land on a glacier. There's nothing better than seeing Alaska from the air. I could talk about this lodge all day long, but it's something you're going to have to experience for yourself. Welcome to Denali Princess Wilderness Lodge. We're located about 1 mile outside of Denali National Park. This location often serves as a base camp for land excursions. Some people will go fly fishing for Arctic grayling. Others will take a red helicopter with Temsco and go land on a glacier. We are so excited for you to experience the crown jewel of our Princess Alaska lodges. Fairbanks is where real Alaska begins, the land known for the midnight sun and the aurora borealis. This lodge is located on over 15 acres of land. The best part about it, though, is the back deck. After your adventures, settle in to savor chef-prepared meals with ingredients sourced from the lodge's own garden. With riverside dining and frontier decor, Fairbanks Princess Riverside Lodge is a great place for you to start or end your Alaska experience with Princess Cruises. Welcome to Copper River Princess Wilderness Lodge. This is one of our most remote locations here in Alaska, and this lodge was purposely built to unlock access to Wrangell St. Elias National Park. Here we are at Kennecott, a classic Alaskan mine that has now been turned into a ghost town. As you walk into Copper River, your attention will be drawn to the magnificent views of the park through our floor-to-ceiling windows. On a perfect summer day, there's nowhere better to be than on our back deck dining with your friends and family. With Princess Dining and sweeping views of the valley, Copper River Princess Wilderness Lodge is a true Alaska getaway. Surrounded by snow-capped mountains, a turquoise river, and untouched wilderness, here we are today at Kenai Princess Wilderness Lodge. From exciting excursions to world-class hiking, this lodge is your base camp for unforgettable adventures. Enjoy the casual, elegant dining or unwind fireside in the main lodge, taking in the spectacular views of the Kenai River. You will truly feel immersed in the beauty of Alaska. We know there are so many ways for you to experience this great land, and we're excited to share with you what Princess Cruises has been doing in Alaska year over year. We look forward to welcoming you.
All right.
Wow. Just
Yeah.
wow. That was amazing.
Yeah, I love that video. It actually kind of makes me a little bit like bittersweet because I don't know the next time I'm going to be going up there is.
Just to quickly touch. I know we focused a lot on kind of cruise tour, right? Land and the cruise, and obviously, not everybody out there can do, can do that much time. But people, one of the biggest number one questions I always get is when is the best time to go to Alaska, and I think I have a funny answer to that question. It's not any one single month. People want to hear June or July or August. My answer to when the best time to go is when you have the most time to go, because every month that you can go to Alaska offers something different and unique and wonderful. And so really, when you have the most time to go, you increase your opportunities and ability to see and do more of Alaska by being able to add on a cruise tour, add extra days in Seattle or Vancouver or what have you. So
yeah,
that's kind of my funny answer on when's the best time to go.
And even if you're doing the cruise touring application as well, I would still recommend a pre and a post night on both ends. Just that way you're not rushing, you're not feeling, because you are going to be moving around quite a bit. So I just want to make sure you guys are comfortable and you really get to experience the city. Like I stayed an extra night in Anchorage. I don't think I would have been able to do that. And go to that really cool restaurant that night if I wasn't staying the night. So I'm really glad I ended up staying an extra night.
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to quickly just glance over kind of what we just talked about. So the cruise tour, those 5 princess lodges. So how does it work? Well, first it starts with the cruise tour itself. It's the first component. It's 7 days, voyage of the glaciers, 3 ports. You automatically get Glacier Bay, and then you get to choose between Hubbard Glacier or College Fjord, whichever one is available at the time. Then it's going to be our train. It's a 500-mile trek. Now, you might be thinking, oh, geez, 500 miles. It kind of differs between which lodge you're going to first. If you're going to McKinley first, it's going to be less. If you're going straight to Denali, it's like a one-shot straight to Denali, and then you go from there. But it's with luxury. It doesn't, we were on it, and we were on it for about 5.5 hours, and it felt quick. It was probably one of the quickest travel moments I've ever had in my life. It didn't feel, just because there's so much going on around you when you're traveling. It's a 1-day event that there's no transfers. You just sit in your seat and get to enjoy, have some drinks and some food. And then obviously you're doing once you're done with the railway, where it's southbound or northbound, you get to do the obviously the railway here is what I said, but you get to do the lodges themselves. And it kind of depends what you want out of each lodge. It's really more of a preference. Fairbanks is the furthest most lodge that we have. Certain times of the year, you actually get the Aurora Borealis. So if you time cruise tour for certain times of the year, maybe either later or early, you'll get some access to that at night. Now, obviously, you have to time it because the twilight's going to kind of mess with it a little bit. But as the sun starts going down in the later half of the summer and it starts to get a little darker at night, you really start to see them come out. Denali is our biggest lodge, and it's probably one of my favorite. One tip and trick I will say is we are sisters with Holland America, and
Right.
Holland America also has a lodge right next to us on Denali's property, which is, by the way, 1 mile away from Denali National Park. So even if you don't do any kind of an excursion with us, like the history tour or the Tundra Wilderness, like I was showing you in my pictures, definitely get an excursion. They're all lined up across the street. Like you will have so many options, and you can talk to our guest services there at the front desk, and just anything you're looking for, ask them. But the tip and trick for Denali is Holland America has a section of their lodge that goes down this hill, and it's on the riverside. And it actually is really fun. They got a really nice bar and restaurant. That's where the Music of Denali show happens every night. There's 2 shows every night. It's live music. They have shops, art stores, gift shops. It's just a very lively area, and a lot of people congregate over there. And because we're sister companies with them, we have access to it too well. So they're not going to say, "Oh, you guys, Princess, you can't come." McKinley is a little bit quieter. There's not as much to do in McKinley, but the views and the nature in McKinley is really what it's all about. You're going to be a lot more secluded. You're going to be much more like nature there. And it's the closest one to Talkeetna. So if there is anything you need to do, or if you have like a free day there, go to Talkeetna. It's a cute little town. I actually met the mayor there. She was about a 1.5 to 2 feet tall, had a bunch of hair. She's a cat, by the way. Or actually, it might even be a dog now. Apparently, there's some kind of political stuff going on over there. It's actually really funny.
Oh, wow.
This dog and this cat. But she has been the mayor there for the last 17 or 18 years. So it's just a cute little town that does something like that. They actually vote her in. Copper River is another excluded one. So Copper and Kenai are probably our smallest. Kenai specifically, if you're looking to do, I always say grizzly bears on that peninsula are really prevalent, a lot more than they are up north in Denali. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Donovan, is Katmai Falls on that peninsula?
It is. And that's a good call out because Kenai, you're basically on the coast. So you have the opportunity to go see Kenai Fjords, which is just a whole nother just realm of Alaska beauty that is really, really difficult to get to. You can't drive there really. Not everybody cruise line wise even goes there. So you know, if you can squeeze Kenai in, I think it's always worth doing because it's so unique.
And all of these lodges have shuttles. They have everything that goes around. It'll move you. If you don't feel like walking in when you're in Denali to the Holland America little section over there at the bottom of the base of the mountain there, you can just take a shuttle there. It's about like a 15-minute walk from like the Caribou Lodge. So super, super flexible, super seamless. And just each one of these is unique to itself. And I just like to point that out.
Real fast. I just want to kind of call out for everybody back home to kind of paint a picture, if you will, right? So when you're staying at these lodges, if you're doing a land tour with your cruise, you know, again, you have a lot of options of things that you can do. If you want to just enjoy the lodge, enjoy being in the beauty of Alaska and the beautiful lodge itself, you can certainly do that. You can do some, you know, light hiking, walking around the lodge, taking all of that in. But to your point, as you said earlier, if you want to really go out and explore more, because you do have free time for the most part in all of these stops, there's a lot of different excursions and activities that you can book right there. It's not something that you need to, you know, do beforehand like you might do excursions for your cruise. So, you know, I think a lot of people, when they're thinking about going to Alaska, they might be a little scared thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be hiking every day or I'm going to be walking up a mountain. And it's not that. Alaska, whether we're talking cruise, we're talking the cruise tour, it really can be what you want it to be. You don't have to hike, 10 miles every day just because you're in Alaska. So.
No, and that's a great point. And a lot of the excursions that are around these, specifically Denali, across the street, there is a strip mall of like different excursions that you can take that will probably be possibly even like more unique, a little bit more diverse than what we can offer. And we always suggest if it's something specific you want to do, it doesn't have to be with us. You're already staying at our lodge. We're taking care of you. Go have fun. Go do your thing. So that's something we really like to push. One thing I also forgot to mention here, and I'll throw it in. Now remember, we have 5 lodges up here, and it gets combined with those 7-day cruises. Okay, coming out of Vancouver or southbound or whatnot out of Whittier. We can offer, and like Donovan was saying, it's all about time. And if you can do it, we can offer 3-day, 5-day, 7-day, and I believe even 10-day cruise tour options added on to a 7-day cruise. So if you have the time to do it, I mean, you could hit each one of these lodges and stay multiple nights at each lodge to really get a true feeling of how this works.
No, you're completely spot on. The shortest land tour that you can do with Princess is 3 days, which basically gets you up to Denali and back down. And
I wouldn't recommend that one, to be honest. I it's a little too fast for me. I think the 5 days the sweet spot.
That's what I was going to say. It's quick. It's quick because again, these places are pretty spread out. Alaska's huge, so it takes time to physically get from place to place. So that 10-day, if you don't have more time, that's fine, but it is quick. When you start looking at kind of 12 plus, right? So a 5-day land tour, your 7-day cruise, it really just slows things down and just gives you more breathing room at each stop. If you have the time, obviously not everybody can be gone 12, 14 days. So you have options.
And also keep in mind, too, if you're flying out of the East Coast, which I was from Raleigh, it is a hike to get up there. Multiple connecting flights, most likely, unless you have like a big hub like Atlanta or something. But I would recommend, you have to account for that as well if you're doing a cruise tour kind of side of it. All right, so one thing I want to quickly go over is the Princess Premier and the Princess Plus packages that we have. These are the 2 packages that we offer. And what I really like to talk about with these is, and kind of my takeaway that I want you guys to get is, we are probably the most competitive in the industry, in the cruise line industry, for these specific packages. And the reason why is we do not like to nickel and dime you guys. With Princess, it really is one or the other. And I'll kind of go into the value and you'll see the value in it after I'm done talking. But if you just go standard, you will notice that you will feel a little bit more nickel and dime. We've created these packages to completely avoid that, to kind of create that all-inclusive experience. And one thing I kind of like to point out specifically is I always get this one. Well, what if we don't drink alcohol? Now, for any other cruise line that offers individual packages for, like, let's just say Wi-Fi, beverage package, maybe excursion package, onboard credit package, there's so many different packages, dining packages that they might offer. With us, it's all inclusive. So, for example, say you don't drink alcohol. I love this slide because it kind of goes over it. You're going to probably have, if say you don't even drink coffee, you might have an energy drink or a mocktail or a fountain soda while everyone else is drinking. So say you get about 5 or 6 of those. These are conservative numbers, by the way. I'm actually gonna change these relatively soon because I was just on a cruise, and 6 drinks, specifically with some mocktails in there, is probably going to be more than $34.80 these days. But let's just say $35, $34.80 right there. Then for Wi-Fi, it's $30 per person. Now, if you go back to this slide, you'll see that you get 4 devices with our top one, Premier, and then 1 device per guest with Plus. And I also want you to keep an eye on the prices up here, because as I kind of go over this, you'll see the value just really start to add up. So let's just say you get the $34.80. It's just drinks, no food, no specialty dining, nothing included. Then you add the Wi-Fi. One thing that people always forget about is that gratuity on cruise ships is always included. Whether you have a package or not, you're going to be paying for it. So immediately, right off the bat, it's just with the Wi-Fi, the couple of drinks you had that day, and the gratuity is about $83. Now, that's not including any dinner. That's not including any kind of water bottles that you might want to get throughout the day because you get thirsty. It doesn't include any of the Princess photos here, the reserved seating, the shore excursion credit that you have here, the 4 devices of Wi-Fi that you can split between your family. So everything included in that immediately, just with the scenario I showed you, you're making 20 bucks. Whoops. You're making 20 bucks a day basically with the base plus package here. Now, what I always say is we always say it's 13 to 50. It's like $15 a day to have an all-inclusive per person package with Princess. I actually like to say it's only I like to say it's only about like $1 or $2 a day, because if you look at this, we just added this recently for 26. It's our shore excursion credit. Now, I don't want you guys to get confused. It's an OBC credit, so it's all over the ship. It's not just for shore excursions. But basically what that does, if you do a 7-day cruise and you divide that by 100 divided by 7, that's about $14, 14.2, I think. So
Right.
are talking about 80 cents to $1 to have an all-inclusive cruise, because you will be using that onboard credit for something, whether it's a shop or excursion or like maybe even a dinner.
Absolutely.
So when you
and it's per person. It's per person.
Yeah, so basically you're paying like a couple bucks per person for the whole fam to have an all-inclusive experience where I promise you will not feel nickel and dimed. And I really hate when cruise ships do that, because it kind of takes away from the whole experience.
Absolutely. No, I would agree 100%. And I think Princess, to your point, has the most inclusive package offerings at a really attractive price. I mean, you figure the Princess Plus, where a lot of people will start out at, you've got Wi-Fi in there, you've got the drink package, again, whether you drink or not, we can talk about that. You've got some specialty dining, you have the gratuities, and you have the Wi-Fi. So all that for $65 a day if you buy it before your cruise.
Yeah.
Right. You kind of did the math. I mean, it's really a good value. And I like to call it too, because not, if folks are coming to Princess from maybe another cruise line, with Princess, when you add the Premier or the Plus, or you have me add the Premier or Plus to your booking, you're not actually paying for that right then and there at that time. It's just added to your balance due with your cruise final payment. Whereas with a lot of cruise lines, if you want to add the drink package, you got to pay for it right then and there.
Yeah.
And so I think that gives people a little bit more flexibility. And the other thing that I'll just kind of call out that I really like is with Princess, these package prices you see here, the $65 for the Plus, $100 for the Premier. That's the price 365 days of the year. So you don't do this kind of back and forth dynamic pricing like some cruise lines do. So you can pretty much count that is what the price is going to be, unless of course it's the base price of the packages increases one day. But to your point, the tip there is to buy it before your cruise, because if you wait to do it on the cruise, it is a little bit more expensive.
100%. Yeah. It's definitely pre-cruise. Just think about what you want out of the cruise. And if you think, now I would say if you're on one of our older ships, smaller volume, you can maybe get away with the Plus, because there's not as many specialty dinings, casualty dinings, like I was mentioning with the Spellbound and other stuff like that. Right. But if you're doing a Royal class, which is from 2013, 14 and up, those ships all have a ton of lounges, bars, restaurants. You're going to want to expand outside of the main dining room. So I would recommend doing that kind of flexibility and switching to Premier for the fam.
Absolutely.
And then the last couple of things I'll talk about here is with this cruise sale that we got going on during this promo with this social media push here, we're going to be doing an exclusive cruise sale. Now, this will come with a it comes 25 days before your cruise sets sail. It's our digital coupon booklet. And Donovan actually said he went through it. I've gone through it. I could talk about it probably for like an hour and a half, just everything it covers. But anything on the ship most likely will have a discounted price that you can add coupons toward. And then on top of that, most of our deposits are going to be around $200 to $250. I think it's $250 now. We just increased it. Reduced deposit for anything that gets booked during the window that Donovan stipulates on his flyer that he'll give you guys after this. It's going to be as low as $50 per guest. So that's really something that's special. I'm going to double check with Donovan to see if that applies to the group as well in 2027. I think it probably will, but just in case it doesn't, we'll figure something out.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great segue. I've kind of been teasing it on social media and on my email list the last several days, but we are going to be hosting a group cruise on the beautiful brand new Star Princess next year. You can see April 30th. And yeah, I have to say, I'm really excited about this because I've been, literally for months researching and trying to select the right ship, the right itinerary. And I ran across this one here on Star Princess. And it quite literally, I really researched this. It's offered one time ever. One time, April 30th, 2027. It's a 9-night cruise. It starts in Vancouver and finishes in Seattle. What's really unique about it, right? Not only are we on Star Princess, a brand spanking new ship with the 30 plus restaurants and bars and lounges. You've got the Dome, you've got the Sphere, you've got the Sanctuary collection if you want to kind of upgrade your cruise experience. But the itinerary is so unique. So on the Star Princess's normal 7-day round trip out of Seattle cruises, she visits the Endicott Arm and the Dawes Glacier. So she does not go normally to Glacier Bay. However, on this 9-night cruise, she spends, I calculated it, she actually spends 12 hours in Glacier Bay the first time she will have been there. She also spends a full day still doing the Endicott Arm and the Dawes Glacier. And she still does Juneau, Skagway, and Ketchikan. And then again, you get Vancouver on one end, you get Seattle on the other. And so we have taken out a limited number of cabins that Princess was able to give us at some enhanced pricing. So the pricing we've been able to secure is a little bit better than what you would just see on princess.com. And we've got just some great perks that go with that. And the cool part about it is, this will actually be the first Alaska cruise of the season on Star Princess next year. What I love about cruising in early May is you still have snow up in the mountains. Oh, yeah. So I think it just feels more like Alaska. Brianna and myself will be on the ship, of course, hosting everybody, answering everybody's questions, coordinating some fun group events, group short excursion options. So, whether you've been to Alaska before and you're looking to go back and do it a little bit different, or it's your first time ever going to Alaska, this is absolutely a great sailing to take a look at, and have myself as an Alaska expert to really be there and hold your hand each step of the way and make sure that you have a great opportunity. So as soon as we wrap up our live stream here, everybody that is on our email list and on our social media, we will throw that link out there so that you can check out the cruise, see the itinerary, see the room options, see the pricing. But I would just say it's going to be a lot of fun. And it has, gosh, let me look here, 1, 2, 3 sea days, right? So you really get some time to enjoy the ship, but also get to see a lot of Alaska on a brand spanking new ship. So really excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great trip. You picked a good one, honestly. If I was going to do it, I'd do something similar.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback on the cruise sale, right? So just want to clarify that for everybody. We are running my agency a cruise sale with Princess for the next 7 days. We launched it today. That is going to be those reduced deposits, that digital coupon book. And this stacks on top of Princess's big 2027 sale that you'll see going on now. So, sometimes people ask about that. Well, if I'm booking with a travel agent, does that mean that I'm paying more? Absolutely not. The pricing that I have, what I always tell people at very worst, the worst is the same that you'll see on princess.com. But a lot of times, because I do have these enhanced rates on a number of Princess sailings, so you get benefit of that. You get benefit of Princess's, sales and promotions that they're running. And then we have our special cruise sale that you'll only find with my agency for the next 7 days. So for everybody at home thinking about doing Alaska, even if it's not Alaska, right? Caribbean, Europe, Southeast Asia, Japan, this cruise sale is a great way to get some extra value on your cruise.
We actually just have, I think, from now until mid-October, we have a early booking for 2028 Europe. So if there's anyone that, you might not do it in 27, but you're like, ooh, 2028, I have a lot of time and I have the means to do it. There's some really good options and some phenomenal deals that you can get with our early booking. So that's something you can ask Donovan about.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, we're coming up right on an hour. This has been a lot of fun. We have certainly talked about a lot of Alaska. I hope for the folks watching back home, it's answered a few of your questions. Like I tell everybody at the end of the day, the best thing to do is reach out. Let's talk about Alaska. Let's talk about your wish list, what you want to see and do and experience, so I can help navigate and guide you to the best Alaska sailing for you, and then really be there every step of the way from the moment we get you booked all the way until you get back home to take care of all of the planning and bits and pieces and answer all of your questions. So we have a QR code here on the screen, folks. If you'd like to schedule a planning appointment, you can do that right there. I will be in Alaska next Monday for about 12 days with Princess, so follow along so you can see all of that. And then lastly, we did drop the website for that group cruise on Star Princess next year over to Alaska. So you can see that there. We'll share it on social media later today. So Dave, thank you so much for coming on. This has been fun. Any final thoughts from you?
Just don't be like me and brush Alaska off. It will tame you very quickly.
Absolutely. I agree. Well, Dave, thank you so much again, folks, watching. Thank you for tuning in today. We'll be back with more Cruise Chat Live in the future. Hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, Tom.